I constantly advise people not to buy their first car on a loan, to buy their first car from savings that they have actually made. And if they have to take a loan, let it be less than the amount that they have already saved. Why do I talk about these things? This is because a car can easily drive you over the edge in terms of your financial spending. Because remember, when you buy a car, and especially on loan, there is the loan amount that you are paying, there is the amount that you are paying in fuel and maintenance and insurance, there is a societal expectation that comes when you have a car. You are now being called for to be able to give social contributions, to fund people's weddings, people's funerals, a lot of expectation that comes around. Even your friends now expect you to pay the bill on the table every other time. Why? You now are a rich man. You have a car. You have something that can be able to be seen. In fact, has propped you up in the social ladder to the point where you seem to be making a lot of money, even though it could just be a loan that you are surfacing or you are paying towards this car. And one of the impacts of this is you start not having enough money to meet recurrent needs. You start having less and less money to be able to pay for an urgent need that comes up, because there are urgent needs that come up, there are emergency needs that come up, there are also needs that you could have planned for, but your car broke down on the highway and you had to repair it, you had to tow it, and it ate some school fees that you were to pay for your child. So what becomes of you during this situation? The first and immediate thing that people do is take the logbook or the title document of their cars and take logbook loans. That is the worst financial mistake that any middle income person in Kenya and in any other part of the world can actually make. You not only made a bad decision to buy a car that you can't afford, but you took the car that was probably overpriced, that you were probably overpaid, that you are probably going to pay a lot more taxes for. You take the titleship of this document and take a logbook loan. Now this is what happens. If your car is worth 1 million shillings, they will never give you 1 million shillings. They will actually give you as little as 40% of that value. So they might give you 400,000. And because you are desperate, because you need to pay school fees for your child, and remember your car broke down, so you took the school fees and paid for this car, and what will people say when they find your car on the highway, you being unable to fuel it and be able to take it to the garage? So you need this money. So you take the money because you're desperate. So you get 40% of the value of this car. Then they give you the normal rate. They tell you it's 13%, what the banks are offering you. But in the small worded document, in fact, it's written as notes. It's not even part of the main document. It looks like an addendum to the main document. It says there are going to be penalties should you be unable to pay on time. Sometimes punitive charges are as high as 10% per day for every day that you do not pay the amount you agreed at a specific time. So your contract says you pay by the 10th of every month, but they say that if you fail to pay on the 11th, you pay 10% in addition to the amount that you have actually taken. So as a typical Kenyan, so probably you went for Christmas, you enjoyed yourself, you went for Easter, you spent even more money. Then you forgot that you needed to pay for this loan. So what do? You forget to pay, and you start begging other people to be able to pay this loan. And remember, they're even calling you, they're causing you a lot of financial distress. And remember, when you are stressed, you are in a flight or fight mechanism in your body. So what do? You take another loan, sometimes even much more from interest, maybe a Shylock loan, to pay off this loan, to be able to plug a debt that is growing at 10% per day. By the 10th day, you have doubled the amount of money that you actually borrowed. So you borrow some money somewhere to pay for this amount of money. Punitive penalties that are going to drive you up or down the financial grave. Then you realize that you have this car, but you can no longer live in your house. Why? Because now that you have a car and now that you took a loan, they tell you you have to keep this car securely. you have to keep this car in a secure place. You can no longer take it to the estate where you are living because now it has a loan guarantee on it. So you end up feeling the need to move or having to keep your car in a paid garage or in a paid place where it is more secure. You end up incurring costs simply because you took this loan. If you are taking a third-party loan, for example, you are forced to take a comprehensive insurance because these people gave you a loan on the logbook, so they are interested in ensuring that you have sufficiently secured this car by taking a comprehensive insurance. So if you didn't have one, now you have taken one to be able to secure this loan for this car that you have. Now this is where now the problem comes. Just by taking this loan to be able to plug a need that was necessitated by your careless financial spending, you end up having to incur debt that is growing. And remember, after 10 days, your loan has actually doubled. And you're not even talking about the interests that are accruing from the amount of money that you have not paid. So interest on the penalties and the principal that you borrowed. And because they have your logbook, because they probably put a tracker on your car, one day you will come out, you have taken your children to a mall to be able to shop, just like any other middle-income person. You take your car, you take a loan, you go to the shopping, then you take your children, you park the car, then they trace where the car is, and by the time you are coming back, people are standing by your car. If you have not given them a spare key, they will probably take a key from you and go with your car. So your children ask you, so mom, why are they taking our car? But you know the answer. So you lose your car by taking a loan that is 40% the value of the car and incurring debt that is actually doubling every 10 days, and you're now in financial distress. The money that you had is gone. The car that you gave out as a logbook is gone. You have incurred even much more financial distress and loans that you have been taking from friends and from Shylocks to plug and try to prevent this car from going. The amount of stress that is hitting you now is harder than you have ever imagined. Logbook loans are the quickest way to financial distress, stress, and sometimes to suicide. People end up having suicidal thoughts because how bad will things go down? No one will tell you. You will lose more than the car, your dignity, your peace, and you may end up in a bad off situation. Logbook loans are things to keep away from. People don't tell you this, but keep away from this. You lose a car because you took 40% of the value in terms of money, just because you could not arrange your money affairs in order to be able to meet all your current money expenses. You did not even have an emergency fund, because remember, a year ago you took the money that you had in emergency funds and the savings that you had, and you took a loan to be able to buy a fancy luxury car. The same car that you are unable to service up to this point, getting money that you could otherwise have paid for your child's school fees, you take a loan to be able to meet this recurrent need, because remember, you already took the money that you could have otherwise taken to pay for this. So it becomes a catch-22 situation. You dig a grave to bury a grave, but you have dug a deeper grave, and in the end of the day, you have dug your whole garden and you have an even bigger grave to fill. Hope that you're learning, you're growing, and you're becoming better in your financial affairs. Remember to leave a comment down in the comment section, to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you and enjoy your